Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
You can import photos directly into the organizer in Photoshop Elements from a camera or card reader. To do this, first connect your camera or card reader to your computer. In the Photoshop Elements Organizer window, select File, Get Photos and Videos, from Camera or Card Reader from the menu bar. Alternatively, you can click the Import drop-down button at the left end of the Shortcuts bar and select the From Camera or Card Reader command from the drop-down menu. After performing either action, the Photo Downloader dialog box then opens. Use the Get Photos From drop-down in the Source section at the top of this dialog box to select the name of the camera or card reader that contains the photos to import. Then choose the import settings to use for importing the photos from the selected source within the Import Settings section in this dialog box. The Location field shows the name of the folder in your computer to which the photos will be imported. To change the folder location, click the adjacent Browse button to open a Select Directory to Store Files dialog box where you can navigate to the folder within which you want to store the photos. Click the folder you want to set as the destination folder within this dialog box, and then click the Select Folder button at the bottom of this dialog box to set the selected folder as the new destination. The Create Subfolders field allows you to specify the name of the subfolder or subfolders to create within the selected destination folder when importing the photos from the selected source. It defaults to creating subfolders within the selected folder based on the shot date of the photos, using the date format of 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day. You can use the top drop-down to select an alternate choice if desired. To not create subfolders within the selected destination folder, choose the None choice from the drop-down menu. To create a custom subfolder name, select the Custom Name choice from the drop-down menu, and then enter the custom subfolder name into the field immediately below the drop-down that says Enter Custom Name here. You can also choose Today's Date in a 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit date format from the drop-down menu to use today's date for the name of the subfolder, or you can select an alternate date format based on one of the shot date choices shown in this drop-down menu. The Rename Files field lets you rename the photos and videos as you import them into Photoshop Elements. You can use the Rename Files drop-down to select the pattern to use for renaming the imported files. To not rename the files, select the Do Not Rename Files choice from the drop-down menu. Otherwise, you can select a renaming format to use from the drop-down menu of choices shown. If you select any pattern that uses the Custom Name choice, you can then enter the custom name to use into the field immediately below the drop-down menu. If you make a renaming choice from this drop-down menu, be sure to enter the default number to assign as the starting number for renamed files into the number field that appears below and to the right of the drop-down menu. The number assigned to each photo imported will increase consecutively from the starting number you enter. If you want to perform an advanced renaming of the imported files, choose the Advanced Rename choice from the same drop-down menu. That will open the Advanced Rename dialog box. This dialog box shows 4 elements by default that will be used to create the new file names. To delete an element, click the small minus button that appears at the far right end of that element's row. To add a new element below an existing element, click the small plus sign button that appears at the right end of the element row beneath which you want to add the new element. To set the value for each element, use the drop-down at the far left end of the row to select an element type. Then enter any custom values into the fields that appear to the right, or use the adjacent drop-downs that appear to the right to refine the naming conventions for that element. In the Options section, you can check the checkboxes for any operating systems for which you want to maintain compatibility when renaming files. In the Preview section, you can see a current file name and a new file name field that will show you the current file name of a selected file and what the new name for that file will be using the naming conventions you have created. When the preview of the file name looks correct, click the OK button at the right side of the Advanced Rename dialog box to return to the Photo Downloader dialog box. In the Photo Downloader dialog box, you should see an example of the file name used for renaming the imported files if selected, shown in the Rename Files section. If you want to preserve the current file name of the imported photos in the XMP metadata, then check the Preserve Current File Name in XMP checkbox in the Rename Files section. In the Delete Options section, use the drop-down to select the option you want to apply for deleting originals from the selected source. If using a Windows computer, ensure there is not a checkmark in the Automatic Download checkbox to ensure that your current settings are applied to the imported files. At that point, if you want to import all of the files from the selected source, you can click the Get Media button that appears at the bottom of the Photo Downloader dialog box. However, if you want to only import selected files from the selected source, or adjust the import settings of the selected files, you can instead click the Advanced Dialog button in the lower left corner of the Photo Downloader dialog box to open the advanced view of this dialog box. When using the advanced view of the dialog box, you can apply additional settings to the imported files. This view contains all of the options shown in the standard view and many more. Note that if you do not need to apply advanced settings, you can click the Standard Dialog button in the lower left corner of the dialog box to return to the standard view of the dialog box. In the Advanced Dialog view, you can see the photos and videos that are selected for import in the large scrollable preview area at the left side of the dialog box. If there are files you do not want to import, you can click the checkbox shown below the preview of the file you do not want to import to remove the check mark from the checkbox. You can also click the Check All or the Uncheck All buttons shown at the bottom of the preview pane to help you select the photos to import. Any photos or videos you want to import must be marked with a check mark in the checkbox shown below the preview image and to the right of the file name. You can also easily filter the view to show only images or videos by clicking the types of files to show or hide in the preview area, which are represented by buttons shown at the top of the preview area. Hidden file types will also not be imported into Photoshop Elements, and you can always see the number of files to import shown as the number of files selected within the Source section at the top of the dialog box. You can also import selected items into custom subfolder groups using the Advanced view. To do this, select Custom Groups Advanced from the Create Subfolders drop-down menu towards the upper right side of this dialog box. Then use the Group Name drop-down that appears below that to select the basis of the group names. If selecting a date format, you can use the slider shown in this area to determine the number of groups to create based on your naming selection. To enter custom names for each group, select Custom Name from the Group Name drop-down menu, and then click into the Group Name label shown in the upper right corner of each grouping within the preview area to type a new name for each group. To rotate an image before importing it into the organizer, click the Preview of the image within the dialog box to select it. Then click the Rotate Left or Rotate Right buttons that appear in the lower left corner of the preview area until the selected preview of the image file displays the desired rotation. You can apply advanced options to all the selected photos when importing them by expanding the Advanced Options section at the right side of this dialog box if needed. Then check any checkboxes for the advanced settings you want to apply to the selected photos. The available settings are Automatically Fix Red Eyes, Automatically Suggest Photo Stacks, Automatically Stack RAW and JPEG, and Import into Album. If you select the Import into Album checkbox, click the adjacent Settings button to open a Select an Album dialog box where you can click the name of the album you want to select, and then click the OK button. Creating and managing albums will be discussed later in this course. To apply metadata to the selected photos when importing them, use the Template to Use drop-down in the Apply Metadata section shown at the right side of this dialog box to select Basic Metadata. Then enter the desired metadata into the creator and copyright fields shown. If using Windows, to ensure that your current selections are applied, make sure that there is not a check mark within the Automatic Download checkbox. After applying any advanced settings in the Advanced view of the Photo Downloader dialog box, click the Get Media button in the lower right corner of the dialog box to import the selected files into Photoshop Elements.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.